Good day, friends, and welcome once again to Voice of the Colonies, where I am here to share with you the latest news from this week, November 23rd through the 29th, 1775. The days are growing shorter, the wind's colder, and yet across the colonies the fire of purpose, that burns ever brighter. News from the north leads our report once more this week. General Montgomery now holds secure command of Montreal. His officers are gathering provisions, clothing, and winter stores with all possible speed. Reports say he will begin his march down the St. Lawrence within days, before the river freezes hard enough to trap him. To the east, Colonel Benedict Arnold and his survivors now lie upriver, having been forced to fall back from Quebec's walls. Now, last week, they reached the settlements gaunt and frostbitten. This week, they're working to regain their strength with the help of the Canadian inhabitants, even as Arnold's scouts and sympathizers keep watch on the city. If you didn't get all the details of what they have been through, there will be a link to a story about that at the end of this newscast. Meanwhile, inside Quebec, Governor Carleton has strengthened the garrison and drawn the militia within the walls. He's denying Arnold every approach. But still, the colonel reports that his men stand ready for the general's arrival through winter, even though it's pressing closer and closer. The St. Lawrence is icing more every night, and should Montgomery reach him in time, the two armies mean to get together and invest Quebec before deep winter seals the gates. If you're wondering what the next miracle we may see from this revolution following Arnold's survival, you don't have to wait. There is word of an enterprise that is underway right now that is so bold, even seasoned officers call it near impossible. Colonel Henry Knox, a bookseller by trade and a self-taught artilleryman, little more than 25 years of age, has presented General George Washington with a beyond ambitious plan to bring those captured cannon at Fort Ticonderoga all the way to Boston before winter seals the roads. Now, the general has approved, and Knox has set out from camp. He is riding toward New York and the lakes, trusting that frozen roads and waterways may do the work the wagons alone could not. From Boston, the siege grinds on. Washington urges his engineers to complete new works on areas like Cobble Hill before the ground freezes solid. Supplies remain scant, and the general presses Congress for powder, writing that the army is so exceedingly deficient in powder that he can attempt no great action. Inside Boston, the British garrison, it's suffering. Smallpox spreads and foraging grows dangerous as American riflemen are stalking the outroads. In Philadelphia, meanwhile, Congress debates how to sustain the army through the turning of the year. Enlistments expire in December, and General Washington fears he may be left with little more than a skeleton force. Delegates are now considering a reformed, longer-term Continental Army with better clothing, steadier pay, and stricter organization. Across the southern colonies, the struggle is getting sharper. Lord Dunmore's forces in Virginia have grown more active, strengthened by those who sought freedom beneath his proclamation. A corps calling itself the Ethiopian Regiment now drills along the Elizabeth River, their clothing said to bear the words, "Liberty to slaves." Patriot militias, alarmed, fortify their position at Great Bridge, and it is widely believed that a clash there is imminent. Along the coast, the sea remains both foe and friend. British cruisers prowl for merchantmen, yet American privateers are growing bolder. Off our own Massachusetts coast, Washington's schooner Lee of Marblehead has taken a rich prize, a British brig called Nancy, laden with gunpowder and ordnance bound for the army in Boston. A cargo like that is worth its weight in independence. Now, despite the hardships of the season, the spirit of invention thrives. In Connecticut, millwrights are experimenting with improved water wheels to card wool to help replace clothing that is no longer coming from Britain. In Pennsylvania, blacksmiths are hammering old farm tools into bayonets, and women are collecting linen scraps for bandages. The work of war, it seems, has become the work of an entire people. And so ends this week, a week of hunger and hope, frost and firelight. In Quebec, one impossible journey has ended, while in New York, another is about to begin. In Boston, soldiers stand watch in sickness and snow. In Virginia, the meaning of liberty itself is being challenged. And across these colonies, one truth becomes clearer with every passing week. The harder the winter, the stronger the will. Until next week, my friends, I remain your faithful correspondent, Mercy Otis Warren.